Hey, welcome back to another episode of Be Loved. Glad you're joining in. It's been a couple of weeks since I've actually spoken with somebody on here and recorded an episode. So I was excited about today, and I'm super excited that y'all are going to meet my new friend. I just want to remind you the reason this is called Be Loved. Be Loved. I haven't said this in a while, so I just want to put this reminder out there. But when I was first praying about this podcast and what to call it, Beloved is one of the things that I felt strongly about. And then I started just looking at that word, beloved, and I saw the two words, be loved. And I felt so strongly in my heart that until we know our identity in Christ, until we know who we are and how He sees us, we won't walk in the beloved. We won't walk as His beloved, and He calls us that. So we have to learn how to be loved by Him first, and then we can walk in as His beloved. So I just want to remind you of that real quick. I haven't really talked about that for a while. I want to go ahead and get started quickly because I know that my guest has a lot to share, and I'm excited to hear it. This is going to be my first time to hear her story. I've heard bits and pieces, but really hardly anything. So I'm hearing it really for the first time, just like you are. Her name is Gina Dahlke, and we met through a good friend of mine, one of my very best friends, Sherry Long. Her and Gina worked together and at Pregnancy Lifeline. And at some point, maybe you can share a little bit about that because it's a wonderful place. And we need to just do a podcast just on Pregnancy Lifeline because you guys do so many great things. That's a good idea. I'm going to do that. Anyway, y'all do so many great things for the people in our community. But anyway, I want to go ahead and just jump in. I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe where you're from, and you haven't always lived here, right? Okay. So just kind of tell us where you came from and a little bit about who you are. And then when you're ready, just go right ahead and jump into your story.
Okay. So my husband and I moved here 10 years ago this December from Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
And we visited here a few times and fell in love with it. And a certain point in time came, and so we knew that was when we needed to move here. And we built a cabin in Blue Eye and log cabin and love it. I have a couple pups, and like you said, I work for Pregnancy Lifeline. I've been there 7 years. So
okay, you've been there a long time.
I have 2 granddaughters and a daughter, and
so it always amazes me that people move to Blue Eye or Lambie. But I know it is beautiful here and you got the lake and people do come here on vacation, but it's always funny to me to think that, how did you land here, you know? Were you raised in Tennessee?
I was raised in Denton, Texas.
In Denton, Texas. Okay.
And then part of my story drove me, or I went to Tennessee.
Okay.
And stayed there until we moved here. I moved to Tennessee in 1990.
Okay. All right. Well, you'd been there a long time because you've been here how long?
10 years.
10 years. Okay. So you have a daughter and you have how many grandkids?
2 granddaughters.
2 granddaughters. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what are you, grandma or what?
Gigi.
Gigi.
I'm Gigi.
Oh, okay. I love that. I love all these little names.
I was going to be a Gigi, but my granddaughter said Gigi first. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, that's it.
I like Gigi. That. Yeah. That's so fun. I love it. Well, I'm a Gigi, but I just always like to hear what everyone's being called. It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
you know, they come up with some good ones. So, okay. Well, do you want to just go ahead and jump into your story and just start wherever you want to? And I'm excited. First of all, isn't she so beautiful? I mean, the first time I saw you, I'm like, oh my goodness, she is so pretty.
Sweet.
No, it's so true. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Well, so my mother was living in Texas when she got pregnant with me, and she and my dad were not married. She was 21, but she wasn't married. And it was a small town, and in that town, you actually are a looked down upon if you're not married. So my grandparents and her conversations together, she felt that she needed to get married.
Okay.
And
I think that was kind of how it was back then.
Yeah.
Like you just got married.
You were like just whatever.
For sure.
So she got married to my dad, and she didn't love him. He was on leave from the military. He was in the Navy. So she didn't stay married to him long. She lived with her parents, and she had found out she was adopted when she was 18, and she really didn't like them anymore.
Oh, wow.
So she was very angry. By the time she found out who her mother was dead, and she died when she was 21. She was on an Indian reservation in Oklahoma, I think. So, and she never knew who her dad was. So by the time she knew that she could research and find out, it was too late. So,
yeah.
But so she ended up getting a divorce from my dad, and met someone else a year and a half later. She married him, and I was raised believing he was my dad. I never knew any different. And so my dad drove from Virginia Beach, and then from Texas to Arkansas, where we lived at that time when they got married, and ended up saying, I'm paying child support every time I come. Gina's asleep. I can't see her. So he, after 2 or 3 times doing that, he just signed adoption papers for my stepdad to adopt me.
But you didn't find this out till later?
Till long.
It's so ironic because your mom was so upset
right,
to not know that she was adopted.
Mm-hmm.
And then she would lead you to believe that this was your dad. Okay.
And if circumstances wouldn't have happened like they did, I wouldn't have ever found out probably.
Wow.
But so we lived in Arkansas, and they had another daughter, my sister. She's 3 years younger than me. And then we moved. He was in oil, and so we moved a lot. And 3rd grade, I was in 3 different schools, in 3 different places.
Wow.
So that was a little traumatic for me at that age. But so then they ended up having another daughter, and after that they divorced. And at that time I was 10 when they divorced. But lots of stuff happened during that time, but not relevant to what I wanted to talk about. So we moved back to Texas from Arkansas, and when they divorced, and settled in Denton. Love that city. So North Texas State University and Texas Women's University. And I mean, just a lot of fun stuff there. I had some really great friends. And let's see, one time when my mom, she began drinking right before they got a divorce. So there was a lot of times when I was home taking care of my middle sister. The other one was at a babysitter, but I was like giving her snacks. And
how old were you?
I was between 10 and 12.
Wow.
So yeah, it was weird, but I didn't know any different. You know, I've never really been in anybody's life that saw how they acted as a family. So until then, I met some girlfriends, and I'd start going to their house on the weekend, and being with their mom and playing games and cooking and things like that. That was fun. But so there was some good times. And then I saw the black bag, this big, huge black trash bag. One time when my mom was out, a 12-year-old girl, what do? You snoop.
Yeah.
So I snooped in her closet and found this bag, and it was full of pictures. The pictures that you take with the white on the bottom that you write on.
Oh yeah,
a long time ago.
Polaroid.
Well, they were what pictures look like in the 60s. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh wow. I started looking at the pictures, and I'm like, I saw a woman, a man, and a baby. I'm like, what's this? And so I looked at the date, and it said 1962. And I'm like, oh. So I kept looking, and I was like, wow. This baby's the same age as me. And I'm like, that looks like my mom, but who's that man? And then I
Oh,
kept looking, and
wow.
there's handwriting from my grandmother on there. And it said my parents' name and Gina. And so I sat there not knowing what I'm looking at, for one thing. Why is this? Because I thought that my other dad was my dad. And I'm like, I don't know how long I sat there, maybe less than half an hour, because I didn't want to get caught,
Yeah.
So I kept several of the pictures. I saw another set of grandparents, which was my real dad's parents, and saw them and cousins. And so I just took probably 10 pictures and put the bag away. And then the next morning I go into my mom's room, and I'm like, so who are these people? I'm like, I was quite bold for a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to get in trouble no matter what, but I wasn't. I wanted to know, when she said, well, I figured you would be asking that question one day. I'm like, okay, well, today's a day. So who are these people? And she said, well, that's your real dad. And I'm like, what? My real dad? And I was like, who are my sisters? And they're still your sisters. They just have a different dad. And so she didn't spend long telling me, but she told me that story, and that my dad had adopted me. And so I'm like, well, I want to meet this person, and she says, well, maybe someday. And I'm like, well, I'm keeping these pictures. And I left, and she said, don't tell your sisters. So I'm like, okay. So here I have this huge secret to keep. And
wow.
I'm like, I have no one to tell. I can't tell anybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So, and we weren't Christians. We weren't raised believing in God. So the funny thing, the God thing out of this story is my mom in her contest all the time. So this was a Dinah Shore Colgate contest, and you write on an index card your name and you mail them in, and then you win a trip. On this one, you could win a trip. So she won.
Oh,
and she could take a person with her. So the person she took with her was my stepdad. And that meant they went to an island. And so my grandparents got to keep us for the Christmas break. So during
this is your mom's parents?
My
or
mom's
his?
parents.
Okay.
My mom's parents kept me and my two sisters during the Christmas break. And my grandmother, we would sit, she had a fold out couch, and we would watch cartoons on Saturday morning, And so she got off the phone, and my grandmother, she came to me and she said, Gina, come here. And so she's like, let's get you dressed and let's brush your hair and get you dressed. I'm like, why? And she said, somebody's coming over. I just want you to meet them. I'm like, well, what about them? My sisters. She said, well, I'll get them up in a minute. And so she literally got me looking nice, and my hair brushed. I had long hair brushed. And all of a sudden, there was a knock on the door, and she says, you can get that. And I said, okay. So I ran out. I'm 12. Actually, I had just turned 12. I ran to the door. I opened the door. There was the most beautiful family standing there. This man, he had the most gorgeous eyes, and a little girl that looked just like me.
Oh,
that was my dad.
Oh,
that was my dad. I'm like, he smiled so big. I'm like, and the little girl, and there was a boy too, a teen, like 14. He was his stepson. And so I'm like, Gina, and my grandmother said, let him come in. And so I couldn't take my eyes off him.
Did you realize that's who it was when you
immediately?
Opened the door? Oh, you did.
Immediately.
Okay.
And
wow.
Yes, I knew I look like him. And the little girl, I look more like her than I do the sisters I grew up with.
Wow.
So my grandmother's house, there, you could walk all around it, and so my little sister, I didn't know she she didn't realize that was me at the time, but
Yeah.
I knew that was her.
Yeah.
So we were running around playing, and then every time we would walk around through the kitchen where my grandmother and he were sitting, he would just look and smile at me, and he would just smile at me every time. And they were there about, I don't know, hour, maybe a little longer. And we had gone outside to play a little bit. And so she's 5 years younger than me.
Okay.
So she was 7. So when they left, I told my grandmother, I said, I know who that was. And she said, you do? I said, yep, that was my dad. That was my dad. And she said, don't tell your mom.
I bet she did.
She said, don't tell your mom. And so she sat me, like, for the longest time talking with me how all through the years he had written her, he had made phone calls to her to stay in touch with my life. All those years, for 12 years, she was sending him pictures, and he would write letters to her to find out how I'm doing and everything, and how much he wished that things would have been different. And he just kept in touch with her for all that time. And that I was happy yet sad, and then a little angry,
Yeah.
Because, like, I didn't feel that love in the home I was raised in at all. I mean,
So his wife was with him, and how was she?
he wasn't married.
Oh, he wasn't married.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
He was married for a period of time.
Okay.
And then they divorced. And so it was her son and my dad. And then my sister was her mom.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah.
My sister and him were half brother and sister.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Anyway, so it was he was just him and
the 2 kids.
The 2 kids.
Okay.
And then when my mom came to pick us up from the trip, my stepdad was with her, so she didn't say anything at that time, but she did tell her a little bit later. And then Mom confronted me, and I said, I want him to be in my life, and from that next Mother's Day, he had contacted my mom, and we were able to get together and meet. And so we were, from then on, it was like he would write me letters, and, it's like he would come see me a couple of times a year. And so.
How was your stepdad with that? Was he okay?
Well, yes.
Okay.
And at that point, I stopped going on the summer vacations and all of that because I felt betrayed.
Yeah.
And that's a betrayal I don't really talk about. I mean, I don't guess I've shared that with anybody, because just like my mom, like you said, she felt betrayed, and I felt betrayed.
Yeah, that just surprises me that. So I just thought, well, maybe her new husband didn't want you to know since he adopted you. But you would think before then that she might have said, that this is your dad. But she had her reasons, obviously. Right. So. And
then after, and I always felt like she treated me the way she did differently than my other 2 sisters, is because she didn't want me. But God did. Habakkuk 1:5, he knew me, he formed me in the womb.
Yeah.
And he set me apart, So he knew me. Even though my mom didn't want me in her life at that time, I was a burden. She was going to school, I was a burden. But how that all worked out, and I got to meet my real dad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's just crazy, and it's amazing. So that was a very good thing. And so then I meet my first husband. I was 13.
Really?
Yeah. My home life wasn't good.
Yeah.
My mom, problems she was having. Then I met me and 2 of my best friends, skipped a movie, went walking down at the mall, and there's guys, 3 and 3, so we all pick one. And
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
Yeah. But it's crazy. We all stayed boyfriend and girlfriend for a long time.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. But my mom didn't like him and forbade me to see him, and that made me sneak, and because I wanted the attention, he gave me attention.
Yeah.
I felt special, for a
Mhm.
young girl like that anyway. But then I was 15, I wanted out, and said he would marry me. He was 3 years older than me.
Okay.
And so I told my mom. She didn't want me to. And then, so you have to get a signature from a parent at that age. And I don't know what I said to her to make her sign, but I'm sure I said something.
Obviously.
Like, you better sign or you're never going to see me again. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so she called my real dad and told him what was going on. And he said, you better do it because you don't want her to run away and never see her again.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we did. And so my mom's and my relationship was very strained. And I was in 9th grade, and my wedding, I had my home ec class made my wedding cake.
Oh,
and I got
funny.
married at my Spanish teacher's home. And
Oh, wow.
my English teacher's husband was a pastor, and he married us. So it was all a
whole
thing.
setup.
Yeah. But at my wedding, the homeowner my Spanish teacher came to me and said, your mother's on the phone. And I said, my mom? And I'm like, oh, okay. So I talked to her, and she said, can I come? And I'm like, you mean come here now to my wedding? And she says, yes, I'd like to come. And I said, okay. So we held everything for a little bit when she got there.
Wow.
And she was at my wedding, and I was really freaked out. I mean, I was excited about getting married, and then I just go, oof, my mom's coming.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that, but she had stopped drinking. And so I'm getting married, running out of a relationship that I didn't like anymore because alcohol was involved. And my future was going to be surrounded by alcohol. And I didn't know that. But so our relationship was mended. I married, and then a few months later.
What do you think made your mom call you to see if she could come?
I really don't know. Maybe it was God doing something for me.
Okay.
And, because that would have, just the future and healing process for both of us.
Yeah.
She had to have wanted healing,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that. We never had that conversation.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it was just for some healing.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And to let me know that she was new.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. She had made changes, and I didn't know it at that time, but she had accepted Jesus as her Savior.
Oh,
and
wow.
I found out a few months later that in 10th grade, I was in 10th grade, and I was going to my ag class, agricultural class, and the receptionist there, a sweet lady, she had seen changes in me, and then one day she asked me, she said, do you know Jesus? I'm like, no, ma'am. I've probably never heard the name. And she said, oh, you need to know him. And I said, oh, well, tell me. And so I missed class that day. I stayed there and listened to her. And then she shared Jesus with me. And then I ended up going to church. It was the same church my mom was going to. And all that healing came, and I got saved and baptized, and at 15 years old, and married. And
wow.
So that was a big year.
That was big stuff.
Big stuff.
Life-changing things.
My husband didn't follow my path. So we had many years, many separations, but and I don't know. I believe I was a codependent person,
Mm-hmm.
He had told me once before we got married, if you ever get fat, I'll leave you. And so that sent me
Wow.
into 8 years of anorexia and bulimia first and then anorexia.
Oh my goodness.
So I was extremely skinny for a while and mentally not right. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was supposed to look like. I didn't know. I hadn't been taught. So now I was starting to get some teaching and know that God loved me for who I was.
Yeah.
And not what I look like.
Yeah.
But that's a hard thing to let go of once you've had that instilled in you for so long.
It sure
And
is.
so we started having kids, and each year I got pregnant, he would leave, and then he would come back after the baby was born. So
Oh my goodness, Gina.
I know, I let him back 12 times.
What?
12 times I let him back.
You were young.
Yeah,
and
I was.
He was like he was older than you, so I'm
Mhm.
sure that was where you felt like your stability was probably with him.
Yeah, there wasn't anybody in between really. Just waiting on him to see if he was going to come back, and the frustration in my mom every time I let him come back, and then I had a baby, and I would go move back in with her because he would leave, and then our life, he would come back, he would leave, he would come back, and then I got pregnant. We moved to Oklahoma, and I got pregnant, me and my husband and Elena, my first baby. And we moved to Oklahoma, and I got pregnant with my son, Dustin. And I actually had tried to get pregnant with both of them, so it wasn't an accident or anything.
Yeah.
It was planned. And so after I had Dustin, I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning in labor and we had a 45-mile drive to the hospital, ended up getting a police escort because he was driving so fast. But so I got there, had him at 3:53. He wasn't in the delivery room. He comes in the labor room and said, in the recovery room and said, I said, his name is Dustin Michael. Dustin Michael. That's what I named him because he had been ugly to me before the delivery. So he left. He hadn't brought any of my stuff. We left without anything in my bag.
Oh my gosh.
No clothes for the baby to come home in. And he said, I'll see you tomorrow. I said, okay. Well, he never came back, ever.
Were you guys living together then?
Mm-hmm. We were.
What? And he never
came back. He never came to the hospital to see me. We were so far away. I had no visitors. It was a weekend. They don't release people on the weekend. So I spent a lot of time on the phone with my dad, and he had taken Delana the last 2 weeks of my pregnancy.
How old were
he
you
had her
then?
I was 19, 20, wow. Somewhere in there, 20, I think. And so I got home. My sister-in-law came in. I loved my sister-in-laws. They were amazing. And Marcia and Sherry, I will say their names, and they loved me, and they helped take care of me.
That's so good.
And so she came and got me, brought me home, loved on me and the baby. And then I packed all my stuff and moved back home to my mom in Texas.
Yeah.
And started life again. And then the whole scenario repeated itself with him coming back, leaving, coming back. And then so we had been back together this next time for a short period of time. And in fact, we were just living with some people because we didn't have a place to stay yet. And because it made my mom mad, and I understand.
Yeah.
When I left, now I have 2 kids and I'm going back to him. But I was coming home from work one day for lunch and was going to see the kids and then go back home. Go back to work. And on my way back to work, they were moving a big mobile home. So I had to go down a gravel road. I lost control of the car and had a very bad wreck. I ended up nose down in a ditch up against a tree, and I was in like a Volkswagen Rabbit, something like that. And so I had on white and gray. I was covered in blood.
Oh my goodness.
My face was just in my hand. I knew I was fixing to crash, so I went like this. And I had to walk like almost a mile on a gravel road barefoot to get somebody I kept knocking on doors to get somebody that would help me. And I knew something was bad wrong. But so finally somebody came and opened the door, and they got a board and stuck it in the back of their truck, laid me on the board and kept me flat all the way to the hospital. And I get to the hospital, and after all of course they ask you if you're pregnant before they do any x-rays. I said, no, I'm not pregnant. So I get all the x-rays and all that, and I find out I have 3 crushed vertebrae.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's and they say you're lucky. I can't believe you walked that far like this.
Wow.
And they said it's a miracle that you did that. So I'm like, well, okay.
It's amazing.
It's
what
amazing.
We can do. Yeah.
So I ended up being released in a brace from here to here with a less than 1-year-old baby to take care of.
Oh my goodness.
And I was in that for 6 weeks. And so when I had help from the people we were staying with. So then we were able to get our own apartment, me and the 2 kids and him. And so I go to my appointment one day, and the doctor tells me I wasn't even paying attention. I wasn't having periods,
Yeah.
Because I thought it was all that I'd been through. And then he ends up telling me that I'm pregnant. And I took a pregnancy test, because he wanted me to check out, and it was a follow-up for my back and all that. And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
So now I'm nervous. And he said, you can't carry this baby. You have to have, you have to terminate the pregnancy, because the baby will be born either without an arm or a leg, or brain damage, something, because you had a lot of radiation.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I'm like, okay. So I left, and that was a Wednesday, and I went to church, and I sat at the very back of the church. And every church has their praying grandmas.
Yeah.
So this little old lady came up, and she prayed with me. I told her what happened, and she prayed with me, and she said, now you go find you another doctor who believes in life, and you're going to carry this baby, and God's going to give you a healthy baby. Oh, wow. And she gave me the biggest hug, and I said, yes, ma'am. So I went, and I was probably 3 months before I told my husband I was pregnant, because I knew he was going to leave. I did the pants with the ponytail holder through the loop and all that, and he's like, you're getting fat.
Oh,
I'm like, and I finally told him that I was pregnant. He picked me up and he threw me into the wall, and he wanted me to have a miscarriage. He didn't want any more babies. And I'm like, I picked myself up. Of course, my 2 kids were there, and Delana saw all that. But he said, well, if you pray, then just pray that God will take this baby. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So within a week, he was gone. And I'm going through another pregnancy all by myself. But I was close to my mom, and we had healed. And so she was there for me. And my sisters, they were there for me. And
were you seeing your real dad at this time?
Yes.
Okay.
And he knew about it.
So he was involved, and okay, that's great.
He knew about it.
Yeah.
And they were all excited. They helped me. I had a good job. I worked at a insurance company, making phone calls.
Okay.
In a little booth.
Yeah.
But a neat thing is, it was around Christmas time, and they always adopt a family to give. Everybody brings gifts, and this was my first Christmas time there. I didn't know about this, but they bring gifts, and they give to somebody who needs it. And so we were all around the tree, and they were going to pull out the name of who got the present. And it's never been somebody that worked there. And so I'm like, I'll go to a dollar store, and get a Barbie doll or something to take.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting around the tree, and my manager walks over to me, and she said, Gina, all this is yours. All of this is yours.
Oh my.
And everybody just started clapping and crying and smiling.
Wow.
And I'm like, I was bawling.
Yeah.
Because I had no money to buy Christmas for my kids.
Mm.
And of course they're young, they don't really know the difference, but as a mom, no matter what age, and they gave me stuff for my newborn baby. And I'm like, I had to have people come to my house with me, my apartment, to help unload because I couldn't even get it all.
Wow,
and then
that's awesome.
I'm like, I didn't pick my children up for the daycare yet. We got all of it in the house, and we did have a tree up, but there was just a couple of things under it, and that thing took up my living room. All those gifts and stacked up. We had sliding glass door. Awesome. They stacked up. I'm like, man, I said, God is so good. And I was going to church. So like, God is so good. And he just blessed me so big at that time.
Yes.
So that was a good thing that happened. And then the lady from church was my coach. And when I had Ashley, named her Ashley, and had Ashley, so she was perfectly healthy.
Ashley was your third.
Ashley was my third. Okay. And when I was pregnant when he left the last time. Yeah. She was healthy, and nothing wrong with her. And so.
Oh, thank goodness that lady.
I didn't listen. So I chose life.
You did.
So ironic where I am right now.
Yeah.
Because, your life story, how God uses all the heartache in your life to help you minister to people years down the road that you don't even know that you're going to minister to. It's just amazing because you can't see it. No. Can't see it at that moment. But you just have to keep Jeremiah 29:11. You just have to know he has a plan for you. Yeah. To prosper you, not to harm you, for a hope in the future. Yes. And he knows all that. You're like, God, please let me see something, because I don't. I don't see anything right now. But so guess what happened when Ashley was 6 months old?
You got pregnant. No. No. I don't know.
He came back.
Oh, he came back.
Yeah. The hard part was over. The pregnancy was over.
Oh.
The young baby
was over. So he wanted
no
responsibility or Where would he go when he would leave?
He would go back to where his family lived and his brothers and stuff, and then he would not have any responsibility. He worked construction, so he made good money. He didn't have an education, but he made really good money doing that, building homes and stuff, clearing the land. But and I let him back. Yeah. And I had actually divorced him and we got remarried. That's the cherry on top of that story. And I thought my mom was going to die, but she was very forgiving. And
I think this is a very normal thing. I think there's so many stories like this where they just keep taking them back. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I see that now where I am in my life with the generation. I mean, I didn't see it when I was in it, but now I see it and I understand.
Would you be excited when he would come back? I mean, were you excited that he was coming back?
Well, because he changed. Okay. He said, I've changed. I've given my life
to
Jesus. I will go to church. I know that I've been going to church. I'm not drinking. That lasted a couple of months. And then what was I going to do, But so we ended up moving back to Oklahoma for a while. And then I ended up leaving him again. I left him and I moved to Tennessee, far away, where he wouldn't find me. He
So
wouldn't
what do
come
you
'cause-
think was just, that was it? Like what? Because you've taken him back 12 times? Or how many
Yeah.
times? Were you
Yeah,
exaggerating?
I took him
or is
back
that
11
true?
times.
Okay.
That was the 11th time. I did take him back one more time, which was 12.
So what was like, this is it?
I thought I was going to die. He was very physically abusive.
Okay.
I mean, choking me, kicking me, punching me,
Wow.
putting his arm over my neck, trying to suffocate me.
Had he always been that way or just towards the end?
No, he was that way pretty much after a few years after we got married.
Yeah.
I know Delana called 911 one time because he had me locked in a room and didn't know what was happening to me.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that, throwing beer bottles at me.
And when they come back and say, I've changed, I mean, you want to believe it.
I did.
You know, I think that's just the normal reaction, it seems like.
I think I built my identity around him.
Okay.
Because,
Yeah.
I didn't know what I thought I was in my life, or what I thought in the beginning was a lie.
Yeah. Also, you were what, 13 when you met him?
Mm-hmm.
And he was 3 years older than you. So at that age, 3 years, like, wow, he's this older man, which made you probably have a lot of confidence in him and found maybe some stability or whatever, just because he was older.
He likes me.
And he liked you.
Yeah.
So I could see how, because you were so young, that you depended on him so much because he was older.
Right.
And, and
needed me. He needed me. He'll be strong. If he's new in Jesus, I know Jesus.
Oh, okay.
I can help him. I think that's
definitely
was
that
the
sounds,
possibility.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of codependency, and I couldn't break away. I didn't know how to break away and be my own person.
Mm-hmm.
But moving to Tennessee, where my dad was, that was the best thing. I mean, I lived with him for a little while, and my stepmother, and then.
Did he ask you to come there? Your real dad?
No.
You just decided that.
I asked him if I could come there.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was probably glad.
He had a split level house, so I had the whole bottom level, 2 bedrooms, bath, living room, and then the top level was kitchen and living room and other bedrooms. So
that was the first time you've lived with him?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I was 24. No, I was older than that. It was in 1990.
Okay.
And I was probably 24. But shortly after that, I let Trent come back. I said, he started calling me. I don't know how, I must have called him and got his, because he wouldn't have had my phone number. I don't remember every little detail.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So then I paid money for him to come stay in a motel. And then he found a place to stay down in Memphis somewhere. And then we got an apartment together, and broke my dad's heart. So, but my dad's very forgiving. He invited my husband into his home and loved on him like any man would, and that loved God, you know. My dad shared Jesus with rocks. I mean,
awesome.
Everybody he talked to, he shared Jesus with. So he had every message Charles Stanley ever preached.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, wow.
He did.
That's a good foundation right there.
He did. But so things didn't things ended pretty fast. In 90, Trent, well, he, it's okay.
Yeah.
One day I came home from work and he had cut up all my articles of clothing that were made of jean material, shorts, blue jeans, a jean skirt, everything. And he was making him a raincoat. And I'm like, this isn't going to happen. I'm not going through this again. So he started the yelling and abuse and all that again. And I had 3 kids.
Oh,
and so I called my church, and they had a meeting, and the ladies came and got me and my kids. And then their husbands, the elders, went and waited on him to come home and gathered his belongings and him and told him to leave. And I promised them, I said, this is it. I promise you. I promise God. I promise my kids. This is it.
Yeah.
So, and it was it. And then so within 6 months, I got divorced. My stepfather passed away and my grandfather passed away.
Wow.
And that was, and my stepfather had left me some money because he had adopted me. So he included me in the money he left. And I'm like, we need a break. So I took some time off work in July and went to Florida to be with my mom and my sister and just go have some fun, you know.
Yes.
And it was fun. We went to the beach. We went to Universal Studios, Disney World, SeaWorld. We went to so many places, got seashells galore, and ate some good food, and just made a lot of good memories.
That's great.
And my son had his 8th birthday there.
Aww.
So Delana was 10 years, I think 10 months and 10 days. And then we were coming home from Florida back to Tennessee. And she said, Mom, are you tired? We need to get a hotel. And I said, I'll stop at the next town. She said, okay. So she laid down in my lap, and the other 2 kids were laying in the back. And I woke up in the hospital. We had a really bad wreck. And Dustin and Delana flew out the back window down the pavement of the highway. And I could hear them crying in the rooms around me in the emergency room. And I couldn't hear Delana crying. And I'm like, where's Delana? And they're like, she didn't make it.
Oh, no.
And so I said, oh, the screaming. I've never screamed so loud in my life. And the gut, that ache in your heart, just like somebody stabbing you. So,
how old was Delana?
10 years.
10 years.
10 months and 10 days.
Okay.
And when she died July 13th, 1991.
Oh, wow.
And so my daughter, Ashley, was flown to Birmingham in the burn unit because the damage to her face was so bad from the pavement. They had to do extensive treatment on her. And I had just left my mom and sister.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
I'm calling there to tell her that their granddaughter has passed away. But so Dustin's whole back was ripped up from the glass. And I love and am thankful for emergency rooms and doctors, but they just stitch you up so fast. They don't care about what you look like.
Yeah.
And Ashley's arm was all messed up, and so they just sewed it up the best they could, you know. And then I just had memories. I was upside down in the car when they found me. And so anyway, so we go to Birmingham to be with Ashley. And then Delana is flown back to Tennessee. And my dad greets her. And she was the part of me that he never got. Because he got all those years with her that he didn't have with me.
Oh.
And he called her princess, and he called me princess.
Oh.
So that was so heartbreaking for him. It was like losing me again, you know. But so after we had to move into another place. I couldn't stay there because I kept seeing Delana everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
Some people like to stay.
Yeah.
Grieving is
Everybody's
different. But some people like to stay, but I couldn't. So we moved into a little house. And me and Dustin and Ashley. And just tried to make things the best we could, you know.
How did they do after
they were
losing her?
Dustin was very sad. He felt like she died because it was his birthday. If we wouldn't have had a birthday, she wouldn't have died.
Goodness.
And I didn't really know all that until later on, but he was very, very sad. Ashley was really young, and so it was...
She doesn't remember probably.
She doesn't remember just a few things about her. She remembers her shaving her legs and cutting herself, and Delana was trying to shave her legs, and she cut herself, and Ashley's like, I won't tell Mom, I promise. So she remembers silly things like that, you know, and one time I asked Delana to get the kids breakfast, give them some cereal, and so she said she was going to give Dustin his cereal first, and she put, all of a sudden I hear Dustin, Mom! And so she put one Cheerio in his bowl. So I'm like, she had a sense of humor.
Yeah, I'd say.
But, that was funny. But so we ended up, I turned to the one thing that I hated most was alcohol. And I didn't drink a whole lot, but there were times, you know, that I was a functional person. I would go to work and come home, take care of my kids, feed them. And I mean, I did everything, but that was my go-to.
Yeah.
And I went to church, read my Bible, and it was crazy. It's crazy now that I think about it, how you can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But fast forward to 1999, I met Jerry, my husband now. It's a blind date.
Oh.
And he tells everybody he met me at a salad bar. And he met me at a bar, and then he says, oh, it was a salad bar. I'm like, that's not funny. That's old.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah. It was a blind date. We went to Starry Nights, and then went and ate at Applebee's. So every year on our anniversary of the night we met, we would go to Applebee's to celebrate.
Oh, that's fun.
So, and that was 25 years ago now. And so that was good. That was a good thing for me to meet him. And God put him in my life because he knew I would need somebody who would love me for me unconditionally and not judge me. And I would need somebody to be my rock on earth for the things that were fixing to happen in my life. Because my mom, well, first, my son, my dad. Jerry asked me to marry him Christmas of 2001. In January of 2002, I found out my dad has cancer. And he has non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and melanoma. So I'm like, you're going to beat this.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I don't think so. They don't give me much hope, because I didn't know it, but they had already seen doctors before that. They just hadn't told anybody.
Oh.
So I'm like, I was excited about having like a June wedding or something, and pretty outside. And
Yeah.
like, no, we got to rush this because he's going to MD Anderson and I want him to walk me down the aisle.
Yeah.
And he started losing weight really fast. He was so frail, probably not even 100 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
And so I walked him down the aisle at my wedding.
Yeah.
And he left the next day to go to MD Anderson. And I was there for a month, I think. And came back, and he died in August that year.
Wow.
And August 14th. So then my husband and I were walking my little dog in our neighborhood, and all of a sudden we start hearing or we start seeing sheriff's cars, and we're like, there's never police cars around here, what's going on? So we just kept walking, and all of a sudden one went into a driveway in front of us where we were fixing to pass. And he said, the gentleman came out and he said, do you have a son named Dustin Stanley? And I said, yes. And at first I'm thinking, so he had, in and out of trouble, his life. And so I'm like, what has he done? What happened? And I saw his driver's license and a $20 bill in the officer's hand. And he said, he's been in an accident. And I'm like, is he okay? And he said, I'm sorry he didn't make it.
Oh my goodness, Gina.
I started screaming, and I fell to the ground and was throwing gravel, and Jerry was screaming, and I think the officer grabbed our dog, but it was like, there's no way. And so we get in his car and he takes us home. And so I have to tell Ashley, and she had spent the night with a friend. And
how old is she now?
17. Dustin was 19.
Wow.
And so the friend brings her home, and she sees all the police cars. There's like several of them in front of our house. And she runs up the driveway screaming, not Dustin, not Dustin.
Oh my goodness.
And I have to tell her yes. So that was horrible. That was so hard. But anyway.
Oh my goodness.
The last picture I have of Dustin is standing on my daughter's gravesite, because she and my dad are buried at the same place. So we went and took a picture over there with her headstone. And then he's buried next to her. I'm like, this is not right.
Oh my goodness.
But
it's not right.
So whenever, they make you go to the morgue and identify them, even though they know, my husband and his brother and I went, and it's not like it is on TV. They're not laying there flat. They're not laying there with their eyes closed under a sheet. I don't think anything was changed from him when they got him out of the car.
Oh my God.
The last time I saw his eyes open was in that morgue.
Oh my goodness.
And his mouth open. But we got to go to the funeral home after everything. He was cleaned up and all that. So he wrecked less than a mile from my house.
Oh my goodness.
And we got some of his hair and got to love on him. But from then on, my daughter and my relationship has been strained. It's not been the same. Actually, a little bit before that, but it's not been the same. But so fast forward more drinking. I wanted to die. I went to a treatment center. I'd gone to a treatment center after Delana too. My dad put me there. But I went to a treatment center, and I just decided that, you fake to get out. You fake and say you're better when you get out. If you're good at it, which I was evidently good at it. But things changed for me too much at that for a while. That was in 2002. And then in 2009, my husband had gone to a teen challenge meeting. And he met a pastor of a church. And he was in Assembly of God church, is where I was going when I got saved. Mm-hmm. And he came home, and we went out to eat. And
was your husband drinking also? Both of you were?
He had no problem with it. Okay. And only socially.
Okay. All right.
I occasionally, I would sneak it at the house.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't sneaking. He knew.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we'd go out a few times a week and have dinner and a margarita or something, when I'm like, let's go out to eat.
Yeah.
So, but it had gotten to be where it was getting really bad. And so, and this was 2009, and we went to eat and have a drink. And he told me that he had met this pastor, and he invited us to their church. And I said, what kind of church is it? He said, an Assembly of God church. Would you like to go? And I'm like, I took my hand off my drink, and I started crying right there in the middle of the bar area there. I felt God. It's like I hadn't felt him in so long. I've been going to the same church for 12 years. I've never felt God like I had at that moment there. And I'm like, yes, let's go. And so we left our table with the drinks and everything. And we went, that Sunday, we went to church, and both of us went down to the altar. And then the next Sunday we went back, and we both went down to the altar. And I'm like, I don't think we need to keep doing this every Sunday. But it was just, you're so drawn to it, once you feel him.
Yeah.
Once you feel the Holy Spirit and God again. It was amazing. So I still was struggling with drinking.
But I love how the Holy Spirit met you where you were. It wasn't in church.
Right.
It was at that table.
Yeah.
At that moment. I think that's just amazing. Yeah. And you felt him, and you felt the drawing from him.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't after you stopped drinking. Mm-hmm. It was at the moment you were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it wasn't anything that you had to do for him to visit you and, put that drawing in you. I love that.
It's
so anyway,
amazing.
then you said that you.
Well, that was March.
Okay.
And then, so I'd been trying to quit drinking, desperately trying to quit drinking, and praying really hard for God to help me, and just to go home, after work, instead of stopping to get something to take home to drink later.
Yeah.
And then one morning I was ironing my clothes, getting ready for work, and always had music on, or Joyce Meyer at the time,
Yeah.
And the song comes on, and it was The Third Day. You know that group, Third Day?
Oh, yeah.
And the song was called Born Again.
Oh.
And I'm just ironing my shirt, and all of a sudden I feel something, and I'm like, I set the iron down, and I'm just start shaking. I'm like, you're doing it, God. You're doing it, aren't you? You're doing it right now. This is for real. I fell down on the floor. I said, God, thank you. And he set me free from it.
Wow.
He set me free to the song Born Again.
Yeah.
And I went and I told my husband, I'm like, you're not going to believe what God's doing. And so I was set free.
Wow, that's amazing.
There was a couple of times after that we went out and I drank, and I'm like, this is not what I want. I don't want this. This is not, I'm free from this. And that was 16 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm good.
That's awesome.
And that part's amazing.
That's so wonderful.
But so he can do it.
He can do it.
And
but even, from that experience at the table until the experience when you're ironing, he still was loving you.
Yes.
And accepting you. And you knew that,
I did.
Right?
I did.
Yeah. It's just, you just had a stronghold.
Mm-hmm.
We all have them.
We do. All different kinds.
All different kinds. And that's what separates us from what we think he thinks of us.
Mm-hmm.
But he still is wooing us and drawing us all along and loving us. We're the one that has this idea that stronghold, he can't use us, or he's not pleased with us. Yeah. So, I mean, that's an amazing story. I love that.
Well, do you want to hear more?
Yes, absolutely.
So, my daughter Ashley ends up getting married, and she gets pregnant. And like I said, our relationship has never been real close. But she did let me go and be a part of the delivery. So I got to see my granddaughter be born. And there was just through some things that happened after that, with how often we could see my granddaughter and things. And my health was stress, and I got high blood pressure. My health just wasn't good. So we thought it best I'm getting ahead of myself. We came to Blue Eye to see some prophets speak here. And while at that meeting, there were 4 people who did not know me or my situation prophesy over me and say, God wants you to move here. 4 people. I'm like, and they didn't even, one of them lived there. The other one was from Pennsylvania, one was from Oklahoma, and one in Aurora. And
wow.
And it's like, so they just all came to this meeting, and I'm like, we had just built a house. And we hadn't even been there a year, I don't think.
In Tennessee?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And so, and my grandbaby's there. I'm like, and then, anyway, so we went to our timeshare that evening, me and Jerry, and sat on the couch and just sobbed and like prayed and like, God, if this is what you want, you'll make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the best friend. I still do, Melissa. And she didn't want me to go. I didn't want to go and leave my grandbaby. And at this point, we found out we had another grandbaby from a relationship before my daughter. And they now have custody of her. So we were, going to be leaving her too. So I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to stay because of the hurt, you know, and the emotional stuff, which I'm not going to share all that. But
yeah.
So, and after that day, we're like, okay, let's do it. So our house sold in less than a month.
Wow.
Without a realtor.
Oh my goodness.
We got plenty from it to come here, build a cabin, a little log cabin, and have plenty of money left. And it's just
awesome.
It was wonderful. God provided work for me, and it was amazing. But between that time, shortly after that, I guess it was 29. We moved here 2015, and in 2019 happened, and we were not able to see our grandchildren again. They now live with their grandmother in California, and my son-in-law has passed away, and this is actually the anniversary that he passed away. And so we haven't seen our grandchildren in 6.5 years. And they were
wow.
7 and 8 when we saw them last. And
Oh,
now they're 14 and 15. But
wow.
their grandmother does send us pictures and let us talk on the phone occasionally.
Oh, that's good.
So, but that's a hard thing, and that's something that I'm praying hard about.
Yeah.
For healing between me and my daughter.
Yeah.
You know, and I have a heart for prodigals, for families whose relationship with their daughters or sons is not good, or even any relation in a family,
Yeah.
sibling, to be healed and restored. And it's hard living each day wanting to be a part of somebody's
Yeah,
life,
I can
and you
imagine.
can't
Yeah.
have it. But I just long for that day.
Mm.
And when your family's gone, like deceased, you don't have any future pictures of them.
Mhm.
And it's like so we live off the memories of them,
Yeah.
and it's like we're living off the memories of our grandchildren too. So at some point, that's going to be healed,
Yeah.
and God's going to make that better. But
I believe that. I mean, you've had a lot of tragedy, but you've also had a lot of where God has just healed so many things.
Mm-hmm.
I think about your grandmother allowing you to meet your dad that time. And then now with your grandkids, you've got someone who's allowing you to talk to them and send pictures. And I feel like in the midst of all of it, God is still giving you these little things that can help, mend your heart.
Mm-hmm. He is.
And that's pretty amazing.
He's going to use all of this in a
He
good way.
is using it.
He is, because like I was sharing with you earlier, one thing that helped me get through everything is other people's testimonies.
Yeah. Yes.
When you share what God's brought you through, it's not that you want people to feel sorry for you. It's that you want strengthened from what you went through, and know that you're on the other side and you're okay.
Yeah.
You're okay. And I still cry at time, there's triggers,
Sure. Yes.
and get sad, but I don't live in that moment.
Yeah.
It's like grief is a bubble and you in. I mean, you see the world going on, and you want to be a part of it. You want to have, but you're stuck in this bubble. And until you realize that God has more for you, and He didn't create that for you, you can break out of it and live here with others. I'm out of that grief period, seriously, but I do miss my kids.
Oh.
I wonder what they would look like, and how many more grandkids I would have, and what they would be doing with their life, and there's just a lot I miss about them. But God has given me the most wonderful husband in the world. He could have left me like Trent did when times got hard. He's been with me through the death of my mother. She had breast cancer and died. With my son, his father passed away unexpectedly, and my drinking and all the stuff, I put him through it, but he stayed with me. And I'm grateful, because a lot of people don't have the opportunity to be a mom, and I did, a wife, and I have. And I've had so many opportunities. And now where I work at a place that chooses life, and pours life into hopeless girls and guys.
Yeah.
And my story, how I chose life, I have had the opportunity to share that twice.
Oh, that's awesome.
And with someone there,
Yeah.
But I'm not in that role where I go into it. That's not what I do.
Yeah.
But I have been put in that place where I could share it a few times, and just see the girls that come in and at Pregnancy Lifeline, and they're hurting. They don't know that they can make it. They don't know what to do. and just to get the support they get there, and just the love from facial expressions,
Yeah.
and all the support. There's so much support there for everybody, the moms and the dads.
Oh, it's
And
amazing. Oh, it
I'm
is just
grateful
so
to be
amazing.
a part of that.
Yeah. Oh, it's just, I really do want to do an episode just on PLL because there's so, I mean, every time I go to your fundraiser,
Yeah.
and I love hearing the testimonies of these girls and the dads, um, and just where they were when they walked through those doors or made that phone call to where they are now.
Yes.
And it's amazing.
It is.
And it's because people like you and Sherry and your volunteers and that have just given so much there of who you all are and poured into these people. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day, which brings healing in our situations when we pour into other people.
Yeah.
You know, I hadn't heard all your story, and you may not be done, which is totally fine.
I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good.
Okay. But I would have never guessed that you had been through hardly any of this. And this is a lot. I just, from the first time I met you, and then as I've seen you, I still don't really know you. I just see you at times, but you have such a sweet spirit and a joy that just exudes from you. Where, I know you get it from the Lord, but is there any scriptures or anything that you would share with somebody that's walking through or has walked through and maybe still in that bubble? Anything you would share just to maybe help them move forward, or what you have experienced has been some of your biggest, things hurdles that you've jumped over? What are some of the things that have really made an impact for you?
Well, I know God's word is number one, and I have God's word in my heart. There's so many scriptures. I believe now I know who I am in Christ.
Yeah.
And that He loves me. He loves me. And He didn't do all this to me.
No.
He didn't. He doesn't want to hurt us.
No.
He wants to love us. And I believe that when Jesus died, God was grieved because that's His Son.
Yeah.
And they are one. And He knows our grief. And for me to know that He knows how I feel.
That's so
and
good.
He wants me to be okay. And He wants everybody to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we share Jesus because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And we may not go up and just talk to Jesus about somebody, talk to somebody about Jesus, but if they can see it in our lives and our actions and our reactions and like how we respond to things in our life that are really bad, or even just somebody at the grocery store that is like, I'm in a hurry, please let me go, or, traffic or what, just anything in life, or a family member that is not doing you like you think they should.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, how do you do that? How do you walk through that? Like, because I'm looking at the end of the picture. I'm not looking at right now. I'm not looking at tomorrow. I'm looking at this moment and the end of the picture where I see them coming home.
That's good.
There's always a seat at the table.
Yeah.
And I'll never hate, and I will never say, no, you can't come to me.
Yeah.
Because God won't do that to me.
Yeah.
I mess up all the time, and God keeps saying, come back. I'm always here for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I just see that He loves me so much. And He's helped me in every phase of life, even when I wanted to die. I didn't want to live anymore. And He put people in my path to give me hope, to share with me. My husband, for one.
Mm-hmm.
And I have great friends, and I have a good church. I love my church. We go to a little log church, a Sycamore log church, and we have great people. We do a Bible study and sing out of a hymn book, and it's just, I listen to sermons. I listen to Charles Stanley
Yeah.
all the time. He's my favorite. And worship music.
Yeah.
Although I don't get a lot of the worship music I enjoy when I go to church because of the hymnals, but I love the words in those songs.
Yeah.
You have that on YouTube, you know, you can get anything. So I have worship music in my home.
It's funny. Some friends and I were just talking about this very music. It's been such a division in churches, it seems, but I was raised on hymns. And then I remember when the Gaithers came out with their choruses, and we could only sing those on Sunday nights. And I used to love Sunday nights because we got to sing those choruses. And all of a sudden, it was changing, because in the hymns, it was about God, and in the choruses, it was to God. And it just started, music really began to change. But as I've gotten older, it's funny, God always brings things full circle.
Yes.
We need all of it.
We do.
The old hymns that talk about who He is and reminding us of who He is, to the worship songs where we're singing directly to Him.
Yeah.
They're all good.
They are.
They're all needed. We got to know who He is before we can really, really sing to Him of that true worship and praise. And I just see where, the Holy Spirit has just you from day one in your life and really pursued you even through the bad stuff. And I think you can look back on that and see that now. Maybe you couldn't see it at the time. But I just hope that, if you're going through something out there that you don't see the hand of God is there, is working on your behalf. And we do see it eventually. But I love also how, He just had people in your life at different times to really show you His love and His care for you.
Yes.
So
I'm very thankful, very thankful.
Yeah. And I think if we all He does this for all of us. We just don't always see it. We think we have to get better first before God's going to help us.
Oh, yes. No, I'm living proof of that.
It's not true. Yeah.
He'll help you when you're ironing your shirt.
Yeah. I mean, I love that he just meets us in the craziest places, when we're not expecting it. We all think it has to be in the church building, or when we're reading our Bible, or when we're praying. And it's like, no, He meets us where we are.
He does.
Yeah. In the thick of it. That's where we need Him,
Amen.
Would you want to pray?
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
That's
if
okay,
you don't
I
want.
will.
Okay. Would you just pray for those out there that are walking through some hard things, and maybe they walked through this a long time ago, but they haven't been able to get past it and really live the life that God has for them in the midst of all the grief and pain?
Okay.
Would you do that? Okay.
Father, I just thank you so much for the opportunity to share my story. I thank you for Tamara. I thank you, Father, for all that she does for our community, for the people who watch her podcast, and the people who talk on her podcast, Lord. I thank you that she is such a blessing here. I thank you, Father, for your love for us.
Yeah.
For all of us. You are amazing. You are amazing.
Yes.
I pray, Father, for everyone listening, that you would use the words that I have spoken.
Yes, Lord.
My story that Tamara has spoken, to touch them and just
prick their heart a little bit to know they can be okay. They can be great.
Mm-hmm.
They can come out of the bubble or the hole that they're in, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
I pray, Father, that you would open their eyes. Let them see how much you love them.
Mm-hmm.
Wrap your arms around them.
Yes.
Smother them in the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
I pray, Father, that you would give them a glimmer of hope. Let them see their life on the other side of what they're going through, what you have for them, what you died for them to have.
Yes.
I pray, Father, that you would put someone in their path, Father, to share your love with them, share hope,
Mm-hmm.
and what their future could be like.
Mm-hmm.
I pray, Father, that you would give them a friend if they don't have one.
Yes.
Lead them to a church.
Mm-hmm.
Lead them, Father, every area of their life. Healing in relationships, healing in finances, healing in
Yes.
bodies. I pray, Father, that you would just touch us all. I give you so much glory for what you've done in my life. I thank you for putting me in moments.
Yes.
You are an amazing God. God. I pray blessings on Tamara and all that she does, Lord. And I thank you for this day in Jesus' name.
Amen. You. That's amazing. Goodness, this has been an amazing story. I mean, it's a sad story in so many ways, but it's an amazing story of what God has done and is doing through all that you've gone through, and you've gone through a lot. And what a testimony you are. What a witness you are of who Jesus is in our lives and what he can transform inside of us in the midst of all the things that we go through. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I just pray that something Gina has said today has just pierced your heart, and above all, just allow the Holy Spirit to touch you and to just open yourself up to him, and he will meet you right where you are. He's there. He's just waiting for you. And so I just pray that you'll be blessed, and whatever you're walking through or have walked through, that you'll allow him to heal that, and just that you might walk in just greatness the rest of your days. And anyway, thank you again, Gina, so much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.